culture. When, in the States you had people talking about alternate facts, and that became all over the world. When science is being ignored, when historical, factual history is being sought to be replaced by, just fanciful narratives, then at that point of time, you have to strengthen the regard and the interest in facts. And that is something that's why I'm so keen to do the things that we're doing, so that people know how to find out things for themselves. And now it's easier than ever before to get to the roots of things, to find out what has been determined, what it is, to have a regard for academic rigor and a sense of veracity. How do you find out about things? Yes, there's interpretation, but it can't ignore facts completely and figure out things. So in that sense, I think a factual culture, a quiz culture can live hopefully with a factual culture, encourage it, foster it, to really increase skepticism, curiosity, discrimination, and hopefully from that, people will want to know what things actually are and not get swayed by counterfactual things, by propaganda, and stick with what is out there. I needed a white collar job to be able to marry. Because my parents-in-law were based in London, but my wife's Kashmiri Pandit. And she was here, she was Miranda, and so on and so forth, and we'd known each other for the longest time. And I needed a sort of regular job. She was working then, she'd just begun working in India Today, and that was what was happening. And so I joined briefly. Towards the end of that, just almost by happenstance, former documentary filmmaking friends were doing a pilot for a television show because they were just opening up to independent
producers. So these documentaries you made were not for any channel? They were
Doordarshan.
For Doordarshan.
Doordarshan. I was working with an organization called Television News Features, which was then the only organization in the entire country to do 2 fortnightly features for Doordarshan for different kendras in different languages. They would send it silent, we would write the commentaries, they would translate it, voice it, and put it out. That's how it used to be. And it was we taught ourselves on the job, big sync machines, editing and negative cutting and everything. TVNF, part of TVNF has now morphed into ANI, which is the biggest news agency. At that time there was Asian News, and they used to do stuff for Reuters and things like that. Viz News was what it was called. So basically this was the early days of that. Let me put it to you like this. Question marks have dogged me all my life. Quizzing question marks. So how it came to be quizzing, because in college I was never a quizzer. I was a theatre wala, But because I'd done science documentaries for so long, and because of the reading and everything like that, the research orientation was always there. That is one thing I brought, a certain rigor, a certain sense of how to lay out content, how to make it interesting, how to set stuff so that it was balanced and fair, and went into different parts. And so we took the content very seriously as a producer. That's one. As a host, you have to make it meaningful and come alive. What I brought, I think, to hosting was a sense of stagecraft and drama, which came from the theatre, Also, because I directed, you also brought in a sense of, how to format a show, how to package it, how to make it interesting, and one thing led to the other. How to visualize it, how to, communicate, how to make it interesting for viewers. So I think, so I didn't come to quizzing as a quizzer. I came to it as from a background of theatre, as a communicator, and as a performer. So really, that is how my association happened with that, and then to be able to have control over what you were doing, And to be able to do it in the way you wanted, we went independent as producers. My wife too has had a huge role. Anita has had a huge role. She's the one who's trained for mass media. She was at the Indian Institute of Mass Communications. So she's the one who sort of, she brought and very pragmatic person with people, how to organize things, a good manager, and an interest in the creative part of things too. So together we built these teams which sort of did shows. A lot of them were quiz shows, but we've done a lot of other shows through the years, but best known for the quiz shows. And one thing led to the other, and we managed ourselves, but we never thought of ourselves, still don't, as businessmen, as entrepreneurs, more as professionals.
Okay.
The way architects are professionals, or in that space, it's like, in the sense that you manage your work and you make it done. We've really approached it as professional producers and in the audiovisual field. And
why do you think you have been so iconic? Like, what makes you?
I've been iconic.
Absolutely.
I think Shalini, there I don't take myself that seriously, in the sense of anybody at one stage when I was on television, it was the only network in the country. It was a national network, and it just happened after the Asiad, in 82, and we came on. We recorded in 84, came on in early 85, and that was the first burst of shows that was independently produced, which the whole country saw at the same
But
time.
they're still so good to watch. You don't feel it's a good content now until.
But that's how you remember it. When I watch some of the old programs, my own programs, I cringe because I think it's so dated and it's so
It's
curious.
amazing,
But whatever, it's not something. So some things, for instance, like Mastermind, I think it's that won't age for me.
Very.
Off television, massive.
Okay.
Because right from the first quiz time, we've seen on the ground, it's crazy. And even over the years, I've done such different live and television quizzes that, one never imagined. We've done quizzes for neo-literates, people who just learned it for the National Literacy Mission.
Okay.
People who just, neo-literacy is 3 months. Basic numeracy and literacy. And we created a show around that with, numeracy, literacy, general knowledge games. It was a mix of that, and it was so moving for people. For them, they feel hieroglyphics are coming alive. That the world, and they feel that they're going to get empowered and things are going to happen. We felt that, and we would have guests each time. We would have as guests, say Shamana or Javed Bhai, or different people from the cultural level, and they too would see what's going on, and we love doing it. On the other hand, and it's a subject I know nothing about, I've done a live quiz at Baba Atomic Research Center for a jamboree of the entire nuclear science community in the country, from the senior most nuclear professors to so the youngest researchers. And we had our formats, we had it figured out, like the ones you're going to see today, and they gave us content, and we make it as interesting as possible. We've done quizzes in Tihar jail 4 years running for under trials. Kaju conducted them. Gajraj Rao, he's an actor. Yeah, so he used to work with us as a how should I say, a warm-up person, for audiences and things. That's how he began.
Brilliant.
And then he was a theatre person, of course, and then I had him conduct. And it was fantastic on the one hand. Then we've done quizzes on the other hand with members of parliament. Only. On whatever it is, we called it Kissa Kursi Ka. And my father was like, he never called me Babu. He thought it was there was a Mali at our home in Bombay.
Okay.
Who used to call me Babuji.
Babuji. Okay.
So from that,
It's kind of
it stuck.
Right.
My father would call me Khoka. Or in third person to other people, Babuji said this. He would never, he didn't like it. He thought it was too common. I don't know what. He didn't like the short form.